I'm Erik from Remo Drive, and you're listening to WRSU FM New Brunswick. God and I have never talked, but I still play Bahoos. Lust and greed, they freak me out, but I see the allure. Look over my shoulder as if sin even exists. Moralistic musing in the gas station like $2 for the right protection for a few. Maybe it's what they want. God, man, I never believed in being upset if I break the rule. Never took you serious, but your guilt still touches me. It must be all that second-hand faith rubbing off on me. I always liked the music, maybe that's how they got to me. Now here I am all alone now thinking about how just $2, ooh, they get me feeling like I'm up. Maybe it's worth it, will my God, that I never believed in being upset if I break the rule.
We want to ask you a bit about the new album because stylistically, huge difference from Greatest Hits. So what made you guys want to go in that direction?
I don't know if it was super conscious or if that's just kind of how it happened, but I think part of it for me was I was meeting a lot of the people after we would play shows, and I'd be like, these are not people like me, these aren't, we're not like attracting people who I feel like kind of get where Greatest Hits was joking and where Greatest Hits was serious and stuff, and I think we kind of wanted to weed out some of the people who were taking I think finding like some dignity in like the worst parts of Greatest Hits, like emotionally or something, and like I think just kind of trying to highlight the parts where we were serious and the parts where we were joking, I think, on this record. And then as far as like styles go, I think just our tastes have changed as we've grown up a little bit, and not wanting to fit quite as neatly in with, I feel like there's kind of a scene of a bunch of bands that do a similar kind of upbeat kind of party emo thing right now, and I think more than anything we just wanted to separate ourselves from what was going on and make it clear that we're kind of on our own path and not a part of a group or a scene or a clique or anything.
So if anything, this new album is kind of more genuine in the way that you guys want to sound how you think you have always kind of wanted to sound.
Yeah, I think it's genuine for how we wanted to sound in that moment, like I think as Greatest Hits was too, I think, but like I have a feeling that I'll probably feel more proud of this one, further down the line. And I think Greatest Hits, I think we could definitely tell that like what we were doing was something that people would gravitate towards like a lot more quickly. It's like it was a lot more likable right off the bat, I think, for other folks. But like this one while we were working on it, I think there was something that felt more like emotionally resonant about it that I think feels better to work on, than just being like, this one's gonna make me really popular, like so. But yeah, our next thing is gonna sound totally different too. So it's I don't know if we're ever gonna be like, this is how Remo Drive sounds, or if it's just gonna be like, because I think we have a pretty varied we have varied tastes just within ourselves. So it's like what we might think is good about us between record to record could totally change, and the things that we want to kind of highlight could also really change.
Is that nerve-wracking for you, making so many style changes with each album?
I don't think so. I think the way that I see it is like there's so many bands that do that. I think we're just kind of in a scene where people are a lot more committed to like what things sound like. But I mean, like David Bowie is a big influence for me, and he's obviously kind of a stylistic shapeshifter throughout his career. Like, and then also like there's bands right now like King Gizzard that are changing all the time, and nobody even bats an eye. They're like, that's just what King Gizzard does. I think just us kind of having our start in the more kind of like emo-y, like pop punk community. It's like that's a very like almost conservative community in a way, where it's like everything, like there's a set of rules and like an identity, and even down to the shoes that you wear at the shows and stuff. It's like everything is already kind of picked out for you. And I think that was something that we kind of realized after a while of just being on tour, and it was like, man, we don't want to be a part of that really.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, whenever you're ready to go into the next song, go for it.
yeah.
I feel sick, the water tasted way worse. I was living all over. You point out a place on a map, I was down to go there. But if I'm being honest, I could feel the paper dulling up that shine. And I could hear the friction, I could feel the grind. 'Cause I'm falling out of love, love, love. We're falling out of love, love, love. You were sporting some leather. Your over meat is murder. It doesn't get better. Your irony like that is reserved for the TV. What? For the TV? Huh. Are you on the TV? No. So take that away from me. You're hungover. You've been up all night, no light. Is this your infinite summer? You've been dressed up like a king. I feel resentment boiling in my blood. I think it's time that we give this up. 'Cause we're falling out of love, love, love. We're falling out of love,
Thank you.
Yep.
I want to ask a bit about the song Ezra Marla. Just like what the backstory is behind that.
Right. Well, I guess that song came about during a time where I was really inspired by a lot of narrative songwriting and a lot of country music and stuff like that. And I guess the story was kind of just, I think I was in a situation where I was feeling self-conscious about some sort of like romance slipping away. And I wanted to write about that, but I didn't want to write about it in so much of a, first person kind of woe is me type of thing. And I wanted to try to explore what I was feeling through a story that I could create about other people. So it was kind of like just tapping into the essence of what I was feeling and then creating a, more of a fictional narrative, like just to kind of help with, I guess, creating something more tangible. But like parts of it, are based on just other things that I've, learned about life in a romance. I feel like there's a part where it's talking about somebody at a reception desk being kind of cute or something. I feel like that's just from watching The Office, It's I always liked that show when I was a kid, and Jim and Pam. So it was like just a bunch of, I don't know, me pulling together a lot of things from throughout my life or from what I was feeling in that particular moment and just trying to construct something out of it.
Sure. Connor?
Yeah, so earlier you mentioned how the scene is kind of like restrictive down to the shoes that you wear. Have you noticed a big difference in scenes as you've been touring, and especially in Minnesota compared to other places?
I guess in Minnesota I don't really hang out in the same places I used to, which is, I think, kind of nice because it definitely is a restrictive community where it's like there's a set rule about like, I feel like there's bands that are like cool in different circles and they're all really separate. And I honestly don't really go to many shows recreationally anymore. I feel like I get a lot more pleasure just staying home and listening to records or something. And when we're on tour, it's kind of, I don't really have much of a metric of what it's like in a different area because the people who are coming are all people who are, Remo Drive fans or fans of whoever we're opening for. So it's all I really see is what our fans look like or what those people look like, but not really like what a music community looks like. But I think it's kind of cool as we've been opening. We've been making an effort to try to, either with who we bring on tour or who we open for, like not necessarily make it the lowest common denominator or the easiest pick for like who we're with. And I think that helps like with maybe people exploring more things about themselves and what they like, in music. And because I feel like it's, at least for people like me who can be really categorical if given the opportunity, it's like it's nice to have something where it's it might be really refreshing to like have an option that's totally, out of pocket, just pop up in your life and be like, wow, I had never really explored this, but this is something that's interesting to me. And I feel like it's not cool to explore, but now, I'm going to anyway. So
Yeah.
That's
really just keep yourself in that one niche,
Right. Yeah.
What was it like growing up in like your specific Minnesota scene?
I think there were a lot of things that were really, really cool about it. There are a lot of bands that are really, really tight, and like to this day, I would say that they're like, professional level, like as far as how they perform and all that stuff. And like, I think there are some really, really, really creative folks, and then I feel like there's like a lot of bands that like, and I feel like we were this band for a while, like a band that didn't really have anything to say or anything to get across, but just like wanted to be a part of it, like because it was exciting. And like I think we have a lot of back catalog of material that's like that, where it's like you don't even really know what we're on about, but we're just singing about something just to sing, and be a part of it, which is a fine reason to contribute. But there are definitely like there's a couple bands that I feel like I'd still go back and be excited about. Like there's this band Pierre that's really great, and the singer from that has always got his hand in something different, whether it be recording himself banging on his wash machine and singing, or like playing in that band. There's but then there's a very definite kind of like restrictiveness. I feel like what I was talking about, where there's like a DIY scene, which is like, I don't know if it's changed more recently or not, but like when I was involved with it, it was like every band has distorted electric guitar, drums, like, you know, singer who's like kind of almost purposefully not singing well, like to be cool or something, or which I feel like is more of a just not wanting to put yourself out there than being cool, or like I feel like there's then there's like a whole bunch of other scenes that are equally restrictive but seem maybe more exciting to me, that because I wasn't a part of them. But like yeah, I don't know, the one that I came up in is cool because it was really friendly and everybody was, I think, working together. But like as far as like music goes, I feel like there's only a couple of bands that I would really, you know, sit down and like listen to on my iPod after a show or something, you know. But I kind of didn't really answer the question. I don't think, but
All good.
We learned a lot more about Minnesota than we knew
Yeah.
before. So, but yeah, whenever you want to get into your next song.
Right.
Separate beds, separate bathrooms, separate floors, same foundation, separate lives, separate friends, separate hearts, and same creations. Whoa, honey, we've got a good thing. Let's keep our old love young. Woo. Desperate men, desperate women, restless wives, restless husbands, make their days, do the dishes, watch TV, and then fall asleep. Whoa, honey, we've got a good thing. Let's keep our old love young. Whoa, honey, we've got a good thing. Let's keep our old love young. Because nothing perfect lasts forever. Nothing perfect lasts. Perfect is more like the weather. It comes and then will pass. Oh, honey, we've got a good thing. Let's keep our old love young. Whoa, honey, we've got a good thing. Let's keep
Beautiful.
That was
Thank
really
you.
good. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Were you ever like classically trained for
No,
vocals?
I guess in what way? For vocals?
Yeah.
I took a couple of lessons when I was a lot younger, like in middle school. And I think the first one that I did was with like an actual like kind of classical teacher, and I left crying. Like I felt so bad. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to sing, and this lady doesn't get what I want to do. Like because I was into rock music and stuff, and I was just super freaked out by like Ma Baby.
Yeah.
And then eventually I took a couple of lessons. I was taking guitar lessons at this place called School of Rock, which I think they probably have here too.
Yeah,
but
they do.
I guess I took some lessons there, but I was more seriously a guitar student. It was kind of just out of necessity that they needed more guys to sing on some of the shows that they put up. So it was I kind of sang, but I wasn't super serious about it. And then it wasn't until after we recorded Greatest Hits I took some more lessons at where I was going to college, because I have this thing where I'll like every couple of months pick up my voice or something. So it was just kind of like to be able to figure out how to pull myself out of that. So it's I guess I have taken some lessons, but I feel like if you were to ask me how much I've retained, I feel like I'm a pretty poor student. So
I mean, it sounds like you've retained that vibrato. So
thank you.
Yeah.
that sounds really good.
Thank you so much. That's I'm not feeling so great about it today, but thank you.
What was like after you guys put out You're Killing Me? Like after Fantano gave you guys all this like shout outs, what was that rise like? Like what was your mindset during that pretty quick come up?
Right. I think it was pretty cool at first and really exciting. But I think also kind of the double-edged sword of that is that like that kind of became all that people wanted from us. And I feel like I think like the rest of that record like is a little bit more dynamic than that song, like emotionally, and like it's also there's a lot of moments that I think are a lot funnier than that song too, you know, and like but I feel like a lot of people kind of immediately constructed sort of a narrative about who we were out of just that, because that was kind of the thing that took off more so than, I mean, the record I think has like a following too, but I think that song, like there'll be people who will come to our shows and be like, I saw the YouTube video and I came here, and I'm like, we've got a couple of YouTube videos, but I think I know the one that you're talking about. And like so yeah, I think it was really cool because it, you know, obviously brought a lot of new people into our music, and I think I had always admired Anthony Fantano just for being able to talk about how he was feeling in a really concise way, and like he's good with his words, you know. I think that's cool. Like I think like I was saying, the bad side of that then is just people like being like, this band is gonna sing about weed and they're gonna sing about cigarettes and they're gonna have all this, you know, they're gonna be really snarky the whole time, and like they're gonna have all these jam sections and stuff. And I feel like that's only I don't know. I feel like I also kind of have a contrarian thing where it's like the minute that people start expecting something, I'm like, frick you. That's not us. So, yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know. It's been really cool, I think. But, I don't know, we're super grateful for all those people who have come on board and who have gone into it with maybe an open mind about like what could happen, because we're also really young. And, you know, I feel like there's probably people in the audience who like, have about the same sense of self, or like the level of sense of self as I do, where it's like I feel like I'm, you know, still figuring it out, you know. That's because I'm only 22. There's a lot of people in our audience who are like 18 to maybe 25 or something, and it's like they're all, I think, drawn to maybe us because of that like kind of uncertainty. But then there's the people who are drawn to that, and then they're like, you're not being uncertain in the same way as I am, so it sucks now. Which is, you know, kind of sad, but you know, that'll happen, I guess.
How's it been like navigating the music industry at such a young age?
I guess I'm not really sure. I feel like I was a lot like more nervous about that when we were first kind of going into like negotiating things with like working with other people and stuff. But I found that like on a day-to-day level, like it still feels like how it felt when we were like touring in our dad's minivan and like playing. Like it's still like kind of we're playing to the same people, and like the things that are like tangible for me every day are like the same. Like the things as far as like numbers and algorithms and stuff like that, like I feel like there was a while where I tried to kind of stay involved in that and like social media, because there was a while where that was kind of fun for me, and it was like more of a sport than like or like entertainment, like just like I don't know, something to laugh about, like being like, we're on, you know, or this thing is totally worthless, but we've got, you know, a Facebook page for it or something. And like but I don't know, I feel like the industry side of things I don't really interact with a whole lot. I feel like it was mainly just when we were like getting involved with our manager, getting involved with our booking agent, getting involved with our record label, where it was like a lot of conversation. But like at this point, it's kind of like with the label, we talk when we need to. We like we'll see them when we're in LA, but like they don't really like. I feel like they've got kind of bigger fish to fry than Remo Drive. You know, they've got like a lot of other stuff going on. So like if we're changing, it's kind of just like that's them. You know, we've figured that out by now, and like for our booking agent, it's kind of like we'll talk if we're trying to pick out who's going to be playing the shows with us, like as a support band or something, or we'll talk if we're trying to figure out like what's an appropriate place for us to play, like size-wise or something. But other than that, it's pretty laid back, and with our manager, it's sort of the same situation. It's all in all, I'd say I'm also the band member who doesn't really check the email anymore, so I'm. But yeah, I kind of, for me, the band is the same as it's always been, where it's just guitar, bedroom, song, bring it to the band, play it with more loud stuff, and then record it, and then move on, you know?
Yeah.
So pretty chill overall?
Pretty chill. I think maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it's definitely like chill, and I guess I'll get stressed out about it, like in different ways that you know, more of kind of trying to measure myself up to whoever I'm looking up to at any given moment, you know. But I think that's where more of my stress comes from than like anything else, is like more having metrics for like what I want to sound like based off of other people or something.
Do you think you could see yourself doing something other than music, or is this it? This is the life you want to lead? I feel like there's times where I'll be like, I could see myself doing something other than music, and then there's also times where it's like, that's kind of unrealistic for me too. You know, I feel like I've got pretty limited skills. So like I didn't graduate college. I didn't, you know, do a bunch of stuff. Which I'm satisfied with those decisions at this point. Like, because right now it's working, but I'm always like, man, this can be kind of exhausting sometimes too, you know, where it's like, just I feel like I think, you know, that thing where it's like when you're doing this kind of more in like a local community or something, it's like you can change as much as you want. Nobody's like, man, Remo Drive really sucks now. They're like, oh, that's, you know, Erik is back, you know, he's playing shows and it sounds different and nobody cares really. Or like, it's just somebody that they see every Friday night, as opposed to like when you come to a city and you're playing stuff that you've been working on, people have a lot more of an expectation about what you should be doing, and that's kind of like a big stressor, where it's like, I think I'm, you know, I want to be like a people pleaser, but I also have that contrarian thing going on, so it creates this pretty intense internal discourse.
Yeah.
But I think if I were to do something else, I'd like to go back to school and try to like maybe become a English teacher, or like try to study maybe music in more of a like a traditional sense or something. And
Sure.
Otherwise, I have some fantasies about opening a restaurant, but
What kind of food?
it would be all right. It's a vegan all day breakfast spot called Night Shift, and it caters to people like myself who wake up late and stay up late. And the reason why it would be all day breakfast is because at least in Minneapolis there isn't really a spot that does that for the vegan folk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess our menu would be pretty simple. We'd source a lot of stuff from various local companies. I've really been fantasizing about this. We've got Peace Coffee. I would try to reach out to about the coffee. I like St. Paul Bagel, Ree's Bagels. I've been working on some sandwiches. We've got one that's just egg, avocado, sun-dried tomato bagel, and a slice of vegan cheese. And, maybe 5 years down the line, this will be a reality. And, if you guys come in, I'll hook it up.
All right. I'll make sure to keep an ear open.
Right.
We'll talk in 5 years.
Right. Sounds good.
Whenever you're ready to get into the next song, up to you.
I'm going to drink some water.
Go for it.
Would the only song Night Shift can play be Night Shift by Lucy Dacus?
That's a yes, for sure. I think maybe I would, any songs with night and shift, but definitely bonus points for songs that have both involved.
For sure, yeah.
I was at a restaurant the other day and I heard Night Moves by Bob Seger, and I was like, this is a great song to have going on in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. All right.
And I've been self-diagnosing all of my problems. Yeah, carrying all my stress in the jar. And I've got all sorts of health products. Yeah, aspirin and Robo and my new skincare wash. It couldn't be excessive caffeine, dehydration, or lack of sleep. I need something real heavy.
Whoa. I've done that in a while.
And I've been banging my head to the beat of trauma and cynic and bandage by natural law. And I've got all sorts of beauty products. Yeah, face paint and polish, resistant to the wash. And now I doubt my Tylenol could save my ass when I mess up. And now I doubt my
Nutty Pod.
could even clear up all my snot. I need to fix myself. Oh! Yeah, I've been self-diagnosing all of my problems, carrying all my stress in the jar. And I've got all sorts of beauty products. Yeah, face paint and polish, resistant to the wash. And now I don't trust my
Advil.
to save my ass when I mess up. And now I doubt my nutty pot could even clear up all my snot. I need to fix myself.
Cool. Thank you so much for being here,
Yeah,
first of all.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Welcome anytime.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Do you want to plug anything while you're here?
Keep an eye out for Night Shift.
I'm hearing whispers of tour t-shirts.
Oh yeah, we've got some tour T-shirts that they need some help. So they're totally empty and bodiless right now, and they're very beautifully embroidered by a machine somewhere.
Perfect.
I'm sure they'd look great on anyone who's listening.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.